Start of 2020, the first objective was to beat AFTV in the Blood Brothers final. Decided by this point that we wanted to go non-league and we wanted to go on the journey we were going on.
Winning the league now, only the first game of the season, don't take it for granted. Like, this league is going to be a bit tough.
Open up then, let's turn. Oi, press, come on!
It's right time, bit nervous though, can't.
Wake the f*** up!
And that's exactly what we want. We want to send a message to the rest of this league. We want to be ruthless.
One push out, Jermaine, you're off.
You can picture James already, can't you? In a spot like this, singing his heart out. DT's bottom on me. He'd be loving it. Give him a lifetime season ticket.
We're DTFC, we know who we are.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now on today's show we're going to take a look back at last night's matches, couple of games in the Premier League and another defeat for Chelsea, and also we find out who Arsenal play in the next round of the FA Cup. Last piece of news involves Walcott, and he has claimed in a recent interview that Robin van Persie was a better finisher than Thierry Henry.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start are last night's Premier League games, two of them, and results that affect both ends of the table. First game was West Ham against West Brom. And of course, West Brom were on the back of a brilliant result in the derby against Wolves, but they went back to type and they lose. And West Ham were 2-1 winners. Mikel Antonio scores the winning goal, and that's a very, very good result for them. And one of the reasons why that was a big result for them is before Leicester and Chelsea, they went above Chelsea, and they stay above Chelsea because Leicester beat Chelsea 2-0. And you've got to sit there now and ask the question, how long will Frank Lampard be a Chelsea manager? Because we all know about Roman Abramovich, and the results have simply not been good enough for Chelsea. And the biggest problem that Frank Lampard has is that he's gone and splashed over £250 million in the summer. A lot of people did warn that when you buy that many players, it's going to be difficult to integrate them into the side and to get some kind of chemistry. But nobody would listen. Frank Lampard was like a kid in a sweet shop that had a bag full of money. And he literally just went out and was like, right, what's the best at the moment? And that's simply what he did. He had a look in the market, who was doing well in whatever league it was, and there just didn't really seem to be any thought process behind the players that he bought. And that's the only way that I can look at it, because some of those players are a shell of the ones that they signed. Timo Werner is absolutely shambolic in front of goal. Kai Havertz, what on earth has happened to him? I thought that he would struggle to adapt to the Premier League and it would take time. But my word, he's all over the place. The new goalkeeper they bring in, is he really that good? He's been absolutely dreadful. He gets a few clean sheets at the beginning of his spell at the club, and everybody thinks that they're challenging for the title. Now he's letting in goals left, right and centre. He's absolutely awful. You're thinking about Hakim Ziyech, and you're like, what's happened to him? It's just absolutely unbelievable. But listen, I did warn Chelsea fans. They wouldn't listen. They were too busy making videos and thinking they were funny, trying to take the piss out of me and Arsenal. And they literally did that on the eve of Arsenal playing Chelsea, already thinking they were going to beat us. And then we ruined you. Yeah, now look. You're only 2 points ahead of Arsenal, who have had an absolutely catastrophic season. The worst season in their Premier League history. This is a team that is rebuilding like massively on and off the pitch, and you're only 2 points ahead of us. You were chasing the league title a month ago. Shut up, man. What that does to the Premier League table is just like, you know, what I was saying with West Ham. First of all, let's go with them because you've got to give them due respect here. They climb up to 7th place and they're on 32 points. West Ham are actually only 5 points off the top. Absolutely staggering. They're level on points with Everton and only 2 points behind Liverpool. That is absolutely mad. Chelsea, like I said, they stay where they are. Goal difference keeps them ahead of Southampton. And they're only 2 points ahead of Arsenal. But Leicester City, they are now top of the league. And I suppose the one bonus to that is that we don't have to listen to Manchester United fans for a few hours at least talk about being top of the table. But I think that may well change again soon. And they'll probably go back top when you look at their game. But look, man, it's just the maddest season. When I look at that Premier League table, it is absolutely staggering. I just don't understand it in any way, shape or form. You think that Chelsea, Arsenal, West Ham, Leicester, you know, they've all played 19 games. And I look right down here and you've got Aston Villa on 15 games. They've got 4 games in hand on pretty much everybody. They're sitting on 26 points. So, you know, for argument's sake, if they won their 4 games in hand, they'd be sitting on 38 points. So you look at that in terms of the table, they would actually be on the same points as Leicester are right now. They've got to obviously win those games in hand, and that's easier said than done, but that's amazing when you think about it. This season's just crazy, man. But it's enjoyable in one sense, but then, yeah, on the flip side of it, it's not enjoyable. Depends who you support, really. Also, last piece of news. There was an FA Cup tie between Southampton and Shrewsbury Town. Now, the relevance to that is that the winner will be playing Arsenal this weekend. And as expected, it was Southampton, a very, very much changed side. But they were able to navigate this one and win the game 2-0. And Ward-Prowse, quite surprised that he played in this game, to be honest. He was captain for Southampton. But yeah, I was a little surprised when you think of all the changes made and everything else. He's probably one that you may have looked at and thought, yeah, he might get a bit of a rest or whatever. But I don't know the situation at Southampton, so, you know. But yeah, they get the victory. And yeah, the next 2 games are going to be against Southampton. FA Cup at the weekend. And then the following Tuesday in the Premier League. So, yeah, it's one of the grounds that we don't normally do well at. But when we played at Southampton last season under Mikel Arteta, we won. If you remember that game, that was the game that became famous for Mesut Ozil sitting on the seats with an umbrella to keep the sun away from him. Yeah, so I wouldn't mind the same result, that's for sure. But yeah, we're going to be playing Southampton and unlucky to Shrewsbury Town. Now that actually brings me straight into my next story because it actually involves Southampton's Theo Walcott, former Arsenal player. And of course he's on loan at Southampton from Everton. And he's been, you know, doing an interview and talking about his time at Arsenal. And the main piece he was talking about was that, you know, the team underachieved, you know, when Arsene Wenger was there. And that it always seemed like finishing in the top 4 was a trophy. Now, for me, that doesn't feel like anything new. That's not breaking news. That is something that we all knew. And this is where people need to understand the difference here between Arsenal now and Arsenal under Wenger. Is that we always got top four, but that always seemed to be the objective. There never ever used to, you know, be some kind of willingness or want to project yourself higher to go for league titles and everything else. And what we're doing right now, the league position is not acceptable, don't get me wrong. But what we're doing now is that we're trying to repair the mess that's been left from parts of Wenger's era, from Unai Emery and everything else, to try and end up being a team that won't just get into the top four, which is ultimately our first aim. Get back into the Champions League. That's acceptable on that, you know, front, because you'll be able to attract the players and everything else. But then propel ourselves to the greater heights and challenge for league titles again. That's ultimately what the objective is. So, yeah, but listen, Theo Walcott was one of the reasons why we weren't doing things or winning things. The amount of chances this guy had. You know, we've been speaking a lot about Mesut Ozil recently and him leaving, and, you know, how many attacking players let him down at Arsenal. Well, Theo Walcott's one of them. But it's another part of his story that I want to touch on. And he was given his all-time 11 and everything else. And he picked Robin Van Persie over Thierry Henry. Now, part of me looked at that initially and thought, what? And then I thought to myself, okay, they had that great season when Van Persie scored about 30-odd goals. And I think Walcott set up about 13, 14 of them or whatever. So, but he's actually turned around and said, my greatest teammate would have to be Van Persie. For me, he was the best finisher I've ever seen. He was better than Thierry Henry. He made it look so easy. Really? For me, he was the best finisher I've ever seen. Well, I think you need to go and buy yourself a pair of glasses. Maybe go and speak to Vision Express. Because what on earth were you seeing? Now, don't get me wrong. Van Persie was a good finisher. Van Persie, in that one, you know, season where he wasn't actually injured, was phenomenal for Arsenal. Thierry Henry done that every single season, consistently, year after year after year after year. World Cup winner, European champion, Premier League winner, multiple golden boots, should have won the Ballon d'Or. We all know that he was robbed by Pavel Nedved. You know, went to Barcelona, won the Champions League, FA Cups, everything. This guy was a phenomenon. And you want to try and tell me that Van Persie was a better finisher? What is the matter with Theo Walcott? There seems to be this kind of bitterness about him and his time at Arsenal. We already know when he played for Southampton at the Emirates a few weeks back and he scored and he went wheeling off in celebration or anything. No respect in any way, shape or form. He seems like he's a little bit bitter about something. And I don't understand how you can say that Van Persie was a better finisher than Henry. When Henry was in them one-on-one positions, opens his body, bends it round keepers for fun. Nah, mate. Absolute rubbish. Theo Walcott, you're talking out of your arsehole. Absolute rubbish. Was Van Persie a better finisher than Thierry Henry? No chance. So, listen, there we go. That is it for my DT's Daily today. And yeah, it should be interesting when we play Southampton now. And Theo Walcott will be available, I hope, anyway. But yeah, look, listen, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.